Wow, this excavator stick has some nasty cracks and needs to be repaired as soon as possible. When I arrived on site, I was told the excavator cannot stop working because tippers need to be loaded for road construction, and the only time I could do any repairs on it was during their 1 hour lunch break. That's crazy to think that's even possible. Anyways, while I was on the site, I ended up having to MacGyver a plan to do repairs on this bulldozer. Long story short, I was supposed to return over the weekend to do repairs on the excavator stick when it was not operating. But the stick never made it to the weekend. The crack opened up more and the bucket was flapping around, so they pulled off the excavator. The stick and its working parts were stripped off and brought to the workshop to be repaired properly. I was actually relieved to be able to do this repair at the workshop rather than on site. The only catch is I have 2 days to complete this repair. And the repair was not just the cracked boom. I had to replace the bushings in the cylinder, the H-link, and the stick. So here's how this repair went down. The first bushing I tried removing did not want to budge with my puller. So I cut it with the torch and put the puller back on. There's no way that bushing's beating my puller now. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. But I got a bit cocky here. I actually damaged the puller. The pressure inside the puller popped out the gland by shearing off a locking clip. Time isn't on my side and I don't have time to repair it now. I still have other bushings that need extracting. These are cut with the torch and used a hammer. That was the first one out, and then number 2. While I was removing the bushings, I got Vincent to cut out some plate I marked to reinforce the stick. The bushings on this side of the H-link were putting up a fight, so I needed a bigger hammer and a Viking roll. They were only sitting tight because I never cut through the bushings on this side of the H-link. Next, I removed the bushings in the stick. I cut them with a torch, then welded on a stopper to hit against. Here goes the first one. I repeated this process for the second one. Next, the cracks needed to be opened up for welding, so I gave it to Vincent to take over.
Yeah.
Vincent is such a help. I would never be able to complete this job in 2 days without him, because I still have other work to do. While Vincent is on the stick, I'll be fabricating 2 new pins. The material for the pins is induction hardened chrome shaft. I'm using this material for the pins because it has the ability to withstand significant wear and impact. Vincent has told me the cracks on the stick have been opened up and grounded clean, so I'm going to go help him align so he can start welding. Pulling the stick back into its original position requires quite a bit of force. So here's the dodgy plan I came up with. For the stick to be positioned correctly, the 2 front holes need to be pulled parallel on 2 axes with a hole on the back of the stick. For the first axis, I put a straight edge on this boss, and Vincent tensioned the chain until the straight edge was parallel with the side of the stick. For the second axis, I had to get this rod I inserted in the front boss parallel with the straight edge I inserted in the boss on the other side of the stick. Now the boom had twisted because it cracked, so this is the plan I came up with. I used an excavator to push down on a solid round bar that was inserted in a short piece of hollow bar I welded to the portion of the stick that needed to be twisted upwards. I inserted a steel block under the round bar on the portion of the stick that was not twisted. The block created a seesaw effect. When the excavator pushed down on the round bar, the twisted portion of the stick moved upwards. Once we were happy with the alignment, Vincent tack welded it to secure it in that position. Just to clarify, I don't just eyeball it, I do take measurements. Numbers don't lie, and my eyes can deceive me. After that we removed the alignment contraption, and then Vincent began the welding. Without gloves, of course.
have it. I have it.
Vincent's tough. If I don't remind him to wear gloves, he never will. Anyways, Vincent's welding is looking good, so I'm going to jump back to the pins that need drilling. Once the pins were drilled, I went back to Vincent to turn the stick so he can continue welding on the next side. The welding is looking great, but cannot be completed on this side, because the plate on the top of the stick needs to be better aligned. The plan was to use the excavator to press it into position. The excavator was pushing the plate down, but not enough to align it properly. I then noticed there was a piece hooking, so Vincent cut that portion away. And there we go. I pressed down again with the excavator and it aligned better. So Vincent secured it so I could remove the excavator. I then quickly disturbed Vincent to weld washers onto the new pins. And that was that. The two new pins were complete. Once Vincent had finished the welding on the top of the stick, I told him to weld in the reinforcing plates while it was still in this position. I'm going to leave Vincent to complete the welding on this reinforcing plate because I got something else I need to sort out now. Because this repair to be done on such short notice, I couldn't get all the bushings with the correct dimensions. As you can see, some sizes are 105.2 and others 106.3. 105.2 is the size I need, so I'm going to machine down the oversized bushings. The holes for these bushings measure 105, so the 0.2 is for the press fit size. Once I had finished machining the bushings, Vincent finished the reinforcing plate. So I flipped the stick so he can complete the other side. When Vincent continued the welding, I moved on to the press to fit all the bushings. First H-link bushing in, second one in, third, and then the last one for the H-link. Next up was the cylinder bush. That's done, let's check up on Vincent. Vincent is grafting, and in no time all the welding on the stick was complete. I am satisfied with the outcome of the repair on the stick. I don't believe it will be breaking on this portion of the stick again. To complete the repair, the bushings on the stick need to be pressed in. That's one, and that's the last one. To finish up the job, everything we worked on got a quick paint. And that was job complete. Everything was loaded up on the truck to be transported back to the excavator and get fitted. And there you have it, the repaired stick, the cylinder, the H-link, and the two new pins in the bucket. Thanks for watching. Check you in the next one.